My sister's fiancé's intoxicated buddy gave a toast during the engagement party and mistakenly blurted out his first marriage. Can you imagine dedicating 3 years of your life to someone planning a future, only to discover their entire identity was a lie? Because that's exactly what happened to my sister Lena, and trust me, it gets worse. It's 4 a.m., and my sister is crying in the next room. I can't sleep. My mind is racing, trying to wrap itself around how we got here, how Sam, her fiancé, turned out to be the most twisted liar I've ever met. For 3 years Sam was family. He was at every holiday, every birthday. My dad loved him like a son, and my mom? She called him Mijo, her honorary son, even though he wasn't Latino. That's how much we adored this man. When he proposed to Lena last month at Aunt Marie's backyard cookout, no one was surprised. We all just thought, finally. They'd been living together for over a year. The engagement party was this past weekend. Aunt Marie, bless her heart. She's the one who has to be involved in everything, and her house is huge, hosted 50 people, all our family, Lena's friends, Sam's parents, and his college buddies. Most were chill, but then there was Daryl. He showed up 2 hours late, already wasted. Not the fun tipsy kind, but slurring, hugging strangers, declaring eternal love to the potted plants kind of wasted. Sam looked annoyed, but still introduced him as his best friend from the dorms. My mom, being my mom, immediately adopted Daryl, showering him with food, asking about his life, laughing at his terrible jokes. Daryl ate it up, kept calling Sam Sammy, and rambling about what a great guy he was. I was hiding by the food table most of the night, dodging Lena's friend Natalia, who kept trying to set me up with her brother. So I just stood there munching chips, watching the chaos unfold. When Marie announced it was time for toasts, everyone gathered around. My dad said something sweet about gaining a son. My mom, of course, cried. Sam's parents gushed about finally getting a daughter. Then Daryl, swaying a little, raised his glass. He said he hoped this marriage would be better than Sam's first one. The world stopped. Lena's hand ripped away from Sam's like she'd touched fire. My mom's wine glass slipped, shattering on the patio, echoing the silence that just fell over everyone. Sam's mom shot a look at Sam's dad. A look I'll never forget, full of fear and guilt. Sam immediately started talking over everyone, scrambling. I was going to tell her. It was nothing. Vegas. We were kids. Annulled. 8 months. I was 20. It didn't count. The excuses spilled out, desperate and pathetic. Lena, calm as ice, just stared. Have you been married before, Sam? She asked. He kept babbling about Chloe being nobody, a mistake, almost 7 years ago. But Lena cut through it. 3 years, Sam. You never once mentioned having a wife. Why? Sam, getting defensive, snapped. Now you're going to have an attitude? He called it irrelevant, ancient history, said Lena was blowing this out of proportion. My dad stepped up then, his voice low and dangerous. What else are you hiding, Sam? How are we supposed to trust you now? Sam's dad tried to intervene, mumbling about the past, young people making mistakes. My mom cut him off. Did you know your son was married? And you let us plan this whole engagement without saying a word. Sam's mom kept repeating that she thought Lena knew, that Sam said he'd told her everything. Lena finally spoke again, her voice still quiet but piercing. Is there anything else, Sam? Anything you forgot to mention in 3 years? Sam looked her dead in the eye and said, No, that was it. Just the marriage. Just one stupid mistake. That's when Daryl, who had been standing there looking genuinely confused, blurted out, Wait, what about? Sam lunged at him, physically shoving him towards the gate, his voice a frantic whisper. We need to talk outside now. But Daryl, oblivious, was still saying, I thought she knew. You said she knew everything. You told her about Chloe. And the baby. The baby. Lena's grip on Sam's arm tightened, her voice barely a whisper. What baby, Sam? What baby? Sam was yelling at Daryl to shut up, telling him he was drunk, didn't know what he was talking about. But Daryl kept going. Drunk people, right? No filter. He said Sam had told him Lena was cool with everything, that she knew about Emma, that she was excited to meet her this summer. Emma. I watched the realization dawn on my sister's face. She asked Sam, Who is Emma? He tried to backtrack, said Daryl was confused, mixing things up. Lena just asked again. Sam? Who? Is Emma? He just stood there silent. My dad grabbed Sam by the collar. Answer, my daughter. My mom was openly weeping. Arturo, Sam's other friend, tried to separate them all. Daryl, now realizing what he'd done, was babbling apologies. I didn't know. Sam said she knew. Lena took a step back from the entire scene. Her voice wasn't shaking anymore. It was cold. Deadly. Do you have a child, Sam? He swallowed. It's complicated. Lena just repeated, yes. Or, no. And he finally choked out, yes. A daughter. Emma. I watched the color drain from my sister's face. All of it. Her entire world just imploded in front of us. She stood there for 3 agonizing seconds. Then slowly, deliberately, she pulled off her engagement ring. She didn't hand it to him. She threw it. It bounced off his chest, a pathetic little clink, and disappeared into the grass. You are dead to me, she said. Those exact chilling words. Then she walked away, leaving him stunned. My dad, usually so mild-mannered, physically blocked Sam. Another step towards my daughter, he warned, and you'll regret it. Sam's mom tried to play peacemaker, but my mom, her eyes blazing, cut her off. Get your lying son out of my sister's house before I call the police. Yeah. It escalated. Fast. Arturo and Daryl practically dragged Sam out through the side gate. Sam still screaming that he could explain. That Lena would understand if she just listened. The party cleared out in minutes. Sam's parents left without a word. Aunt Marie started cleaning up the shattered glass. My mom sat on a patio chair staring blankly. I found Lena in the bathroom, crumpled on the floor by the toilet, makeup smeared, shaking uncontrollably. Maybe she'd been sick, I didn't ask. What do you even say? After a long silence, she whispered. I asked him. Early on, 2 months in, she'd looked him in the eyes and asked him if he had any kids. And he, without a flicker, said no. Just no. She asked me what kind of person does that. What kind of monster looks someone they supposedly love in the face and lies about having a child? I had no answer. She stayed in there for almost an hour. I stayed with her. My parents kept checking, but Lena didn't want to talk. When she finally came out, she said she needed to know more. Who was Chloe? Who was Emma? How old? Where did they live? How often did Sam see them? She needed to understand the scope of his deception. She wanted to talk to Daryl. Daryl, bless his heart, felt terrible. He'd been sobbing in Arturo's car. Sam had apparently told him Lena knew everything, that she was supportive, that the whole family knew about Emma. So when Lena texted Arturo asking if Daryl would talk, he called her back within 5 minutes. Daryl spilled everything. Sam and Chloe got married at 20 Vegas, impulsive, a disaster. But here's the kicker. Chloe got pregnant right before they divorced. Not annulled, divorced. Another lie. Emma was born, she's 5 now, lives with Chloe in Ohio, and Sam's been paying child support this entire time. And this is the part that makes my blood run cold. Sam had started visiting Emma more often 2 years ago, right around the time he started dating Lena. He told Daryl he was finally ready to be a real dad. He was planning to introduce Lena to Emma this summer, had even bought plane tickets for Emma to stay for a week. He saw Lena as a great stepmom someday. He was making my sister a stepmom to a child she didn't even know existed. 2 separate lives running parallel, and Lena had no idea. But Daryl wasn't done. Chloe had been struggling financially, emotionally. Sam and Chloe had actually discussed a custody change. Emma potentially living with Sam full-time. So Lena wasn't just set to be a surprise stepmom. She was potentially going to be a surprise full-time mom to a child she'd never met. My sister was going to wake up one day to a ready-made family she had no say in. Lena thanked Daryl for being honest and hung up. She looked at me and said she was going to be sick again. And she was. It's been a few days now. Lena is staying in my old bedroom at our parents' house. She hasn't gone back to the apartment she shared with Sam. She hasn't answered any of his calls or texts. He's been blowing up her phone. The messages alternating between apologetic and furious. One of them said, "You're being unfair. I was going to tell you. You're ruining everything because you won't even let me explain." She's being unfair? She's ruining everything? I can't even. Lena finally agreed to see him, not because she wanted to, but because she needed to get her stuff from their apartment, and figured she might as well hear him out. My dad wanted to go, but Lena insisted on doing it herself. I drove her, waited in the parking lot. She said if she wasn't out in an hour I should come up. She was in there for almost 3 hours. When she came back to the car, she didn't say anything for 10 minutes, just stared out the windshield. Then it all poured out. Sam, the second she walked in, launched into his explanation. 20 minutes straight. A whirlwind of context and full stories. He had even cleaned the apartment, bought flowers, had coffee ready. Like it was a romantic morning, not a confession about a secret child. Lena almost laughed at the absurdity. He claimed every woman ran when they found out about Emma, that he was tired of being rejected for something that wasn't his fault. Lena just sat there quiet, then asked, "Define too soon, Sam? Because 3 years. That doesn't sound like too soon to mention a child." His defense for that specific lie? He panicked. Said he wasn't expecting her to ask so directly. Once the no was out, he couldn't take it back. Oh great. Very reassuring. But what about all the conversations after that? All the talks about their future kids, their family? He sat through every single one, knowing he already had a daughter, and said nothing. He actually tried to say those conversations were about their future, and Emma was separate. Lena just stared. How could your daughter be separate from our future if we got married? That's not separate, Sam. That's combined. He started getting agitated, accused her of twisting his words, of already making up her mind to be angry. Lena, her voice rising, told him she was angry. She had every right to be. He lied about something monumental for 3 years, and now he was acting like she was the problem for being upset. He said she wasn't being fair, wasn't giving him a chance to fix this. Lena shot back. How exactly do you plan to fix it, Sam? Are you going to unhave a daughter? Go back in time and tell the truth. He actually suggested they could move forward. Now that everything was out in the open, they could start fresh. He could introduce her to Emma. They could still have the life they planned. The wedding was in 4 months. They didn't have to cancel anything, just adjust. Lena asked if he was serious. He wanted her to just get over it, pretend the 3 years of lies didn't happen, meet his daughter and play happy family? He claimed he was trying to protect the relationship, that everything he did was because he loved her and didn't want to lose her. That's when Lena snapped. That's not love, Sam, she yelled. Love is honesty, even when it's terrifying. Love is trusting someone enough to tell them the hard truths. Love is not making decisions for someone because you're afraid of their reaction. He started yelling, then said she was blowing this out of proportion, that plenty of people don't tell their partners everything right away. He said she was acting like he cheated, when all he did was not mention something from his past. Lena yelled back. A child is not something from your past. A child is a living person. A child is a permanent part of your life. It's not like forgetting you used to smoke. Then Lena asked him directly, "What was your actual plan, Sam?" He got quiet. Then he admitted it. He was going to tell her after the wedding, after she was his wife, after it was legally and socially harder for her to leave. He was going to trap her. He actually said it wasn't trapping, it was timing. He thought once they were married, Lena would be committed enough to handle the news. He'd plan a trip to Ohio, introduce her to Emma in a controlled environment. Lena asked what if she didn't want to be a stepmom. He said that wouldn't have happened. Lena was great with kids. She would have loved Emma. They would have been a perfect family. Lena told him he didn't get to decide that for her. He didn't get to plan her life without her input. He tried to backpedal, admitted the plan was flawed, that he should have told her sooner. But they could still make this work if she would just calm down and think rationally. Calm down. Lena told him she was thinking perfectly rationally. She was rationally realizing she was engaged to a liar. She was rationally concluding that she couldn't marry someone who made major life decisions behind her back. He asked if she was breaking up with him. Lena said she was taking her stuff and going home, and she didn't want him to contact her until she reached out first. He said that wasn't fair. He deserved to know where they stood. Lena, her voice icy, told him he didn't get to talk about what was fair. He lied for 3 years. He could handle a few days of uncertainty. She packed 3 suitcases, 2 garbage bags, her laptop, some books. She left anything they'd bought together. Anything that reminded her of the life she thought they were building. Before she walked out, Sam tried one last time. He said she was throwing away their entire future over something that happened before they even met. He claimed Emma wasn't a threat, just a kid who needed a dad and maybe a stepmom. He said Lena was punishing him for trying to protect what they had. Lena told him she wasn't punishing him. She was protecting herself from a man who thought lying for 3 years was an acceptable way to start a marriage. She walked out. That was the first intense conversation. Then came the second. Sam had been pushing for another meeting, claiming there was more context. Lena didn't want to, but I think a part of her needed to see him one last time before making a final decision. They met at a Denny's public neutral somewhere loud. I waited in the car across the lot. 2 hours later she emerged, shaking. She got in, told me to drive, and didn't speak until we were halfway home. Then she told me what Sam said. Turns out the custody situation with Emma was even worse. Chloe had been struggling for years, and Sam was already actively discussing taking full custody of Emma. He was planning to become a full-time single dad before he even met Lena. Let that sink in. He was actively planning this, and still sought out a relationship without revealing a single thing. Lena asked why he didn't just lead with that. He said, because nobody wants to date a full-time single dad. He needed to ease someone into the idea gradually. He saw Lena as an angle, a strategy. He then admitted he partly chose her because she seemed like good mom material. He saw how good she was with her cousin's kids, heard her talk about wanting children someday, and knew she was the one. She had all the qualities he wanted in a mother for Emma. So there it is. My sister wasn't just his girlfriend or his fiancé. She was an audition he ran without ever telling her she was being tested. He admitted his parents knew. They'd been encouraging him to find someone stable, family-oriented, someone who could help him get full custody. His mom even told him Lena seemed perfect for it. It wasn't just Sam, it was his entire family looking at my sister and seeing not a person, but a solution to their custody problem. Pawn in their game. The wedding timeline? He admitted the rush to get engaged was related to the custody. Chloe was getting worse. They needed to move fast. A married couple with a stable home would have a much stronger custody case than a single guy. The wedding was part of a custody strategy. Lena, my sister, was going to be a prop in a court case she didn't even know existed. Lena asked if he ever planned to tell her any of this. Even after the wedding? Even after Emma moved in? He said he thought by then it wouldn't matter. Once they were married and Emma lived with them, Lena would love her so much she wouldn't care how it happened. He claimed he was trying to give everyone the best outcome. Lena's voice was like steel. Whose best outcome, Sam? Because it certainly wasn't mine. She never got to decide if she wanted to be a stepmom. She never got to decide if she wanted to be part of a custody battle. She never got to decide anything because Sam made all the decisions for her. He got frustrated again, said she kept saying the same thing, that his decisions were good decisions, that she would have been happy. If Daryl hadn't opened his drunk mouth, everything would have worked out perfectly. Lena told him that was the problem. He thought ignorance was a gift. He thought she should be grateful he protected her from information that might have made her choose differently. She looked him dead in the eye and said, "What if you told me on our first date about Emma and the custody situation? Would I have stayed?" He didn't know. Lena said, "Maybe yes, maybe no. But at least it would have been my choice. At least I would have gone into the relationship with full information. At least I wouldn't have spent 3 years building a life with a man who was secretly auditioning me for a role I never applied for." He called her unfair. She saw his perspective perfectly. His needs trumped her consent. Lying was acceptable if he got what he wanted. She was just a means to an end, and her feelings? Obstacles to manage. Period. He tried to say he loved her, that everything came from love. Lena told him to stop saying that. What he described wasn't love. It was manipulation dressed up in nice words. "We are done," she said. He tried to argue, said she was making a mistake, throwing away everything they built, that she would regret this. Lena said the only thing she regretted was not looking closer, not asking more questions. Not wondering why he never had childhood photos around, they probably all had Emma in them. Not questioning why his college friends were kept at a distance, they all knew. Not understanding why his family was so incredibly eager to accept her so fast. They weren't seeing Sam's girlfriend, they were seeing Emma's future mom. She told Sam to lose her number. If he contacted her again, she would tell everyone exactly what he did. His coworkers, his friends, anyone who would listen. She was done protecting his secret. He got angry then. Said he made one mistake, and she was acting like he was a monster. He'd find someone else. Someone who actually appreciated him. Lena just said, "Good luck with that. Whoever you find next deserves to know about Emma before they waste 3 years falling for a lie." She walked out. That was 6 days ago. Sam has tried texting her twice since then. The first was an apology begging. The second was angry, calling her cold, saying she'll never find someone who loves her as much as he did. The wedding is officially canceled. My parents lost the deposit, but honestly nobody cares about the money. Lena found her own apartment closer to our parents' place and moved in last week. Sam apparently moved back to Ohio to be closer to Emma. I don't know if that means he's pursuing custody now or what, but honestly that's not our problem anymore. My mom still won't speak to Sam's mom. They tried to reach out to apologize for the misunderstanding, but my mom told them there was no misunderstanding. Their son deliberately deceived her daughter with their full knowledge and support. She said she would pray for Emma, because that little girl deserved better than a father who treated people like pawns. That's the part that kills me. Lena keeps blaming herself, feeling stupid for not seeing it. But how could she have seen it? Sam was a good liar. He had a whole support system helping him lie, his parents, his friends. Everyone played along. My sister never had a chance. Someone asked if we ever found the engagement ring. Yeah, we did. My uncle was mowing Aunt Marie's lawn and found it nestled in the grass near the garden bed. We mailed it back to Sam's parents. No note. Just the ring. A final silent punctuation mark on a 3-year lie. So, what do you even do when you realize someone you love, someone you were going to marry, has been living an entire secret life? Have you ever had your trust betrayed on this kind of scale? I'd really love to hear your thoughts. Or if you've been through anything remotely similar, down in the comments below.